right, everyone. Hello. We're back. And Roxy is here. We're lounging with Leash. I got my lounge gear on today. And this is a special new episode. And I've been recently really obsessed with tie-dye, like every other person, but also like not just any tie-dye. I waited strategically for something that really spoke to me. This summer I actually did a tie-dye day with the niece and the nephew, and that was really fun, but it didn't turn out like I liked, and so I was like, meh. But when I saw this bad boy, this fan sweatshirt, oh my god, it was like calling my name. And it really reminds me of like the Outer Banks, you know what I'm saying, that show. And because they had some cute merch, but it said like John B is hot or something on there, and I'm like, I can't be doing that, even though I do think so. And then I got my Tahoe beanie on because it's cold AF here. It was 16 degrees this morning, still in Oregon. It's supposed to snow soon. And yeah, it's cold, it's fun, it's fall, it's burr, you know? And Pup is surviving. I thought she'd be way more like weak sauce about it and like refuse to poop or something, but she's kind of killing it. Little adaptable pup. So today, Lounging with Leash, again, this whole podcast YouTube thing was supposed to be a thing that helped get me out of bed, help inspire me to do something with my life besides just work. And so apparently I'm back at it, feeling like inspired and just share some happy things, share some stuff I love. So yesterday we did The Bachelorette, first episode and second episode rundown, which was really fun. So if you haven't listened to that one, go give it a whirl. Claire is on a adventure, let's just say that. And then today, so when I find something and I get really into something, I like get really into something. And my newest thing that I'm really into, besides tie-dye and beanies, is Heather McMahan. And doggone it, she's stinking amazing, and I'm kind of upset that I'm like just now really learning about her, because I mean, have I been living under a rock? I don't know. But so if you don't know, she is a comedian, and she's first of all hilarious, but also just like a badass in general, and really honest, really open, really freaking slaying the game in my opinion. And before I get too far into it, I think the way I found her was, I believe she was a guest on Jared Fried's podcast. So I went and followed her. And so I love that that's how like the little world works. And like Instagram, I saw her post, she starts posting stories, and I start eating them up, and I'm like, wow, this girl's really funny. And then she mentioned she had a podcast, and I'm like, get out of here. So I listened to the first episode, or my first episode. It's called Absolutely Not with Heather McMahan. And I'm like, what? Is she like made for me or something? And I feel like a lot of people feel this way. She has, basically the idea of the podcast is she gives her like life update, whatever she's going through. And then she has a hotline where people could call in and leave voicemails of their absolutely nots that they're experiencing, and then she talks about them, and it's so good. And I'm like, how have I just now, but actually I'm kind of happy that it took me this long, because now I have days of content. She's been doing it for a while now, so I have so many episodes to listen to, so I'm kind of bouncing around and having fun listening to them all. But I found out that we're the exact same age. She said she's 33, and so I think that's why she just super resonates with me. We have like very similar, I don't know if we have similar life experience, but time frames and timelines for things, and things that she references as a kid, you know, I understand. Like she references talking about like watching like Seventh Heaven and like how her mom would tap into her phone line when she was little and like listen to her conversation. So she's also really into wine. She's really into good food and just like being a fucking boss. And she's also got me saying, you know what I mean, so much more than I already did. Like, seriously, I love it, but also I need to reel it in because I feel like I could just really overdo it and then I'm like annoying myself, you know? I almost said it. You know, well, for me, if I really like something, I'll really dive in, like I said earlier, but almost to the point where it's bad, where like I ruin it for myself. So like with a favorite song or something, I will listen to it over and over and over until I can't stand it anymore. So it's not always the best trait to have, but I'm gonna try to reel it in on the you know what I mean, even though I love that saying. So yeah, so I would just say Roxy is really wanting to join this podcast video, but anyways, so I would just say like she's super inspiring. She talks about her anxiety, her kind of like stressors during quarantine. She's open about her emotions and also her body, and just very honest, which I super appreciate, and it's inspiring to be honest. Like she's talks about the auditioning process and getting on shows and touring, and it's like something about the comedy world is just very interesting to me in that it's kind of like this off the beaten path career that is very like build your own, like there's no one way to do it. And I think that she is just such a badass for going off on this adventure, if you will, and like trying to forge this life for herself as opposed to like corporate America, beep boop beep, working up the ladder, that whole thing, you know, which there's nothing wrong with that, but like I just have so much admiration and respect for people who are like, you know what, I'm going on my own path, and like there's not even a road here, but I'm plowing one, you know. And so I respect her for that. She's a hustler. She lifts other women up. She's supportive. She has this oh my god. Okay, so I want to start. So she has this sorority, like in air quotes, she created for her girlfriends, or maybe they created, I don't know who created it, but it's called Pi Kappa Pasta, and it sounds so badass because it takes the idea of like sisterhood and being supporters of each other and your community and transfers it to, you know, 33-year-olds where everyone's in a different phase of life. Everyone just wants to, she just says, we just want to giggle, we want to support each other and giggle. And that is like freaking my mantra, you know? And I think she just has such good energy. And I'm like, I already texted 3 or 4 of my girlfriends. I'm like, dude, we need to start the Sacramento chapter of Pi Kappa Pasta, or maybe it'll be like Pi Gamma Gnocchi or something. I don't know. But I signed up for her newsletter because I think so many people are like, I want to be involved in this. And so she has an Instagram for that too. So I'm like, freaking, I need to get involved. I'm here. Sign me up. Whatever it is. I'll fly across this country to go to this Pi Kappa Pasta meeting. I don't even care. Because I bet you it's so badass. And I'm happy to start the Sacramento chapter or Oregon chapter or wherever chapter. I'll do it. And yeah, so like I would say if you're looking for super amazing content, listen to her podcast, absolutely not. Follow her on Instagram, and I'm sure she might even have like comedy specials. That's the thing. I'm so new to the game with her. I don't even really know all the things, but I'm still learning and there's more to learn. Oh my God. One of the things she posted is like, she does these characters and she'll do skits, and it's like so good. Think like kind of Mad TV, but with like more character depth and witty editing and just silliness in general. But like I bet she laughs her ass off recording those things, you know? And yeah, so I feel like everyone needs to know about her, especially people that like are in my circle, and I need to just like spread it. It's so weird. It's like when I like something, I want to tell everyone. I don't know why. It's just what I do. Like, I should probably do an episode about Jersey Shore because I'm back into Jersey Shore and like Snooki for president. You know what I mean? And maybe that's what I'll do next. But it's just weird that I'm the type of person who likes to share what I'm into. I don't know. I guess it's not weird, but just what I like doing. And yeah, I think that's probably one of my favorite things about her is she's so, I don't know if decisive is the word, but just like sure of herself. Like she will come out and be like, you know what is the cure to everything in the world? Spinach dip from Hillstone. Like, it's like so funny to me that like you can have an opinion like that and it's just the silliest thing, but she's like, no, I'm serious. And like, I like people who are like that, who take a stand. And it's probably because in my past, I wasn't always that person. I'd be like, oh, I mean, yeah, spinach dip is great, but like whatever you like too, you know, like we can get whatever makes everyone happy because like I'm the people pleaser, right? And so I think that the thing is that I'm learning that that's boring, number one, and number two, it's not necessarily true, and it gets me into trouble because I end up like, what's the word? Like one of the examples I can think of is when, you know, when you're trying to figure out where to go to dinner with like a group of people. And there was this time like years ago where there's, you know, 6 of us, 3 couples, or 7, or however many people, and we're trying to talk about where to go. And Alicia here wants to go to this pizza place or whatever it was. And the group is talking about Mexican and this and that. And I'm sitting here going like, but I didn't say anything, right? Because I'm just like hoping they'll secretly land on the restaurant I want because I don't want to have to say what I want. Just want everyone to land on that so that I don't have to inconvenience anyone. Well, that's not true. No one picks the pizza place. We get in the car and I'm like, I really would have rather gone to the pizza place. And my partner at the time is like, well, why didn't you say that? I'm like, well, because I didn't want to be like the annoying one that's like, we must go. Like, all of you need to go to the pizza place because I desire pizza. And he's like, yeah, but how would we know that if you don't say that? And maybe other people did want pizza and they weren't, like, it was this whole dumb thing all about food. And usually, that's another thing about Heather. She's very into food and food is very important to her. And same thing with me. So I'm like, you fuck with my meal and where I'm, like, going to eat. That's what, like, I get upset about. And so I just was like, oh my God, like, I need to work on speaking up. And I'm still working on it. But I feel like I've made strides. But the other thing, too, is, like, my dance class that I'm in now, my teacher and my boss, actually, she taught me when I was little, too. She'll ask, like, oh, so do you guys want to start from here or from here? Or do you want to go forwards or backwards? Or whatever the question is. And people will be like, and in my head, I'm like, well, I want to do this. But I don't say it because I'm like, I'd be pushy or, like, that's the girl that always speaks up or whatever. Because I think at some point, I was labeled bossy or annoying or whatever it was. And now I'm just venting, so that's fine. But I feel like at some point, I learned that that was annoying or that I would get reprimanded or chastised from the group for speaking up because I'm like, but now it kind of sucks because I'm trying to figure out like what I want and how to get there, and if I can't say it, how is it ever going to happen? You know? So I think Roxy might have to poo, so we got to cut this one short, but please do not cut yourself short. See what I did there? And download her podcast, Absolutely Not, with Heather McMahan. Follow her on Instagram. She has all these interesting characters in her life. Her mom's on, her sister, her husband, or soon-to-be husband. She's also engaged. She got featured in the Knot magazine. Just like really cool shit is happening for her, and I think it's really awesome that she's sharing it with us. And on that note, thank you for lounging with Leash. We appreciate you. Until next time, Booyakasha.